I'm proud. Max wanted me to apologize. He cannot be here this evening. He is the proud new uncle of a baby girl.
Well, that's very nice.
And Select Board Member Pratt is not joining us this evening. He has been ill.
Okay, we've called the meeting to order. We've had the pledge. Presentations. I take a motion to open public hearing.
I take that motion.
Second. Is there a second? Okay. Is there any discussion? If not, proceed to vote. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carried. John Daigle, snow operations.
Well, that right?
Yeah, so we can hear you.
What I'm asking the selectmen for is part of the winter packing ban ordinance that we have. The ban state from midnight till 6 in the morning. Packing ban on all streets, but it doesn't specify in town. During a storm, I can authorize that vehicle move anytime during the day on any other roads in town. But in the middle of town, I cannot do that because we have parking spaces there. And of course, when we turn around, we get, storms 5 inches and out. With us going through there with the trucks, we're pushing the snow against the vehicles, which are packed there. And we get more accumulation. We're really messed up downtown. 2 years ago, we were down to 1 lane. Shouldn't be allowed. It has created a lot of problems. It has created problems with us trying to clean the snow in the middle of town. It's getting so, used to be people who knew not to pack there now. Even the other night, was out 1 o'clock in the morning. Still cars packed on the streets. We couldn't do the packing areas. Police finally had them removed. Then we had cars on Redomic Terrace. The truck couldn't go by, treat the roads. It's really causing us a lot of aggravation and cost to taxpayers. What I would like is have flexibility to also apply in town in the parking spaces. Anything over 5-8 inches snow, and it's going to keep snowing. I'd like to prohibit the parking in town.
Over 5 inches.
Do we have signs or anything that we would have to put up?
This would be probably signs would have to be put up, but would be notifying people, as far as the radio or telling them. But I think it's something that needs to be done.
I don't think making it 5 inches, is unreasonable.
Yeah.
Anything over 5 inches.
So that's the only thing I'm looking for.
So what we've already done this year, as we do every year, is the police, we published it in the paper, and there were there were 2 times notices were left on cars prior to once that November 1st date started. And the cars that were towed were repeat offenders.
Yeah, they were ticketed.
They were ticketed and towed. So that's part of the issue is, and I do think though, we do need to designate a place that we can have those people who would typically park in those spots.
Mhm.
We'll have to have a dedicated space.
Yeah.
Question I have. Just about signage
Hmm.
itself.
We can put it, we typically put closings on the radio. We do the radio, we let the newspapers know, and if like, we know we have the potential for a large storm this weekend, we would start now saying, and we could give hours based on when we believe the snow is going to start at, and the end of snow operations.
In general, there have been signs in some of the stores downtown
Mhm.
that give a date, and is that for overnight parking?
That's for the overnight park.
Okay, and so there is no overnight parking during,
No, from
certain-
November 1st till April 1st.
right?
There
And these
hasn't-
cars were there in the middle of the night?
Oh, yeah, they're
Yeah,
still,
so that's,
it's getting to be.
Yeah.
It's getting to be ridiculous. It used to be, like I said, 1 or 2, but the other night, there was 6 right in town and 2 were on the terrace.
seems reasonable to me.
I said, I think we should probably have signage too.
Mhm.
Just so people say, well, I didn't know. The signs there, so.
So are we saying if we simply enforce what we now have, your problem would largely be solved?
You know,
No, because in town, he doesn't have authority.
in town, I have the authority on any other road in town to have vehicles towed when I want them. In town, I can't because we're out for parking spaces.
And that authority comes from this board?
So in an declared emergency, Kyle can declare the emergency and then John has the ability to
Yeah.
free the roads. What I would suggest is you can do it 2 ways. I would put this up for consideration under our traffic of a revision to our traffic ordinance, and people can vote on it. You can either do a special if you want it, or we can wait till June, and then this season, in cooperation with our emergency management coordinator, they can declare the emergency, and then we can enforce a snow ban. It's a tough. I think John has the authority to do that, or even Kyle has the authority, or the chief of police has the authority, based on the fact that it's public health, safety, and welfare. The problem is when your businesses are open and it's 5 or 6 inches and they haven't closed, where do they park then? That's where you're going to get an issue. But if they can't plow to get through the road, then that's a safety issue. So, I mean, I think that's the fine line that you're going to walk. But I mean, technically right now, Kyle could declare a snow emergency and he can, John could declare no parking.
So for now, in a way, we have the ability to do what you need to do, but it's kind of springing it on.
Excuse me,
people
can you
that-
people use your microphones? I can't, my hearing's not the best. I don't know. I understand.
It's always
Julie.
Bob.
It's just me. I apologize. It's this microphone here. It's not on. The green light says it's on.
Use your outside voice, Bob.
Sorry,
Use your outside.
I'll use
voice.
my outside voice. All right. When I yell, I sound like I'm yelling at people and I'm considered to be impolite. So I'll try not to be impolite.
Oh, excuse you.
My apologies. So we're covered for emergencies at the moment. But in the medium to long term, we need a more permanent
Yes.
way of addressing this.
Yes.
So I guess I'd go along with backing you and Kyle up in an emergency
Yep.
and recommend that we draft appropriate wording for an ordinance that we can put in front of the voters.
Yep.
And if it's a special town meeting, so be it.
Mhm.
Can you hear me okay, Charlotte? Okay.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Are we allowed to speak?
That's up to-
Yes, Chip. Paul, you had,
I forget who I spoke to, not Julie, whatever. But Main Street during the day, you cannot find a place to park. Because all the people who live in the apartments are parking on Main Street. I think that's a big problem. I mean, if you want people to come into your town, come into your businesses, we have to have a place for these people to park within reason. But I can name you 5, 6 cars on Main Street every day that are up in the apartments.
And it's only 1 hour parking.
Yeah, but who's checking? The cars sit there all day.
You know. But that's what it is in the ordinance. 1 hour parking.
Seth?
Julie,
Any
Julie,
comment?
sorry, go ahead, sorry.
Did you want to respond? Ron? A couple of questions. Some municipalities, I'm sure we've all seen it in Portland, and places like that, have blue flashing lights for exactly this real-time notification. They put them in a couple of places, strategic intersections, and you can really see them even when it's snowing. I would think that would be one possibility. I don't know.
Police department won't let me use blue lights.
Well, this is a municipal blue light on top of
I'm
a
just
pole.
kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
You got me. And the other thing is, I'm unclear. Is it the case that the municipal lots, like Coon Lot, are in fact open during snow emergencies, but then maybe plowed later
Yes.
to accommodate? There is someplace people can go, not very far.
Right.
That's what I thought.
Right.
And does signage exist that says 1 hour parking on the, say, Friendship Street?
Actually, it's screwed right to the buildings.
That's why I haven't seen it. Okay.
Yep.
Nope, comment. Nope. Anybody else?
I do think if we're going to utilize, before we go to an official vote, and we can utilize Kyle to declare the snow emergency for anything over 5 inches. I do think what we need to do is, if you can then give us notice so that, say, if we know by tomorrow the storm's coming as predicted, we can start putting that out on social media. We can let the Lincoln County News know, they can maybe put it on their page and the Village Soup, and we can get it into the radio.
Yeah, cool. Good. That's all I needed. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Website.
I just want to say, while we have John Daigle here, or Papa Elf, as he's being called, our Public Works Department did a phenomenal job helping Santa out to get the tree up, to create a lot of Christmas spirit so that his sleigh could fly. And I just think that it looks great. And I just wanted to let you know that we've gotten just a wonderful response about that effort. And we just wanted to say thank you.
Not a problem.
Okay, anybody else have anything?
He does have a twinkle in his eye, doesn't
He does. He does.
Thank
Okay,
you.
we have a motion to close public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carried. All right, adjustments to the agenda. I have one that we add American Legion approval information letter. And I'll, if that's all right with you, put it at 8.1 under new business.
I'd make that motion.
Second.
Is there any discussion? If not, I'll proceed to vote. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carried. All right, that we move to citizen comments. Are there any citizen comments? Seth Hall?
Seth Hall, resident, small business owner. Just wanted to report some, I think, good news. We, the Bug Tussle Annex, has received a grant for 2 electrical vehicle chargers to be stationed at our private parking lot on Jefferson Street, just to the left of the front entryway to the Bug Tussle Annex. These will be relatively small, a pole about this high with 2 machines on it with hooks, and I mean, not hooks, plugs that you plug into your car. They're not fast chargers, but they're the highest capacity level 2 charger you can get. They're 80 amps, so they're feature proof. They're very, very big. And so we're grateful for that. We hope to we'd hope to get them in before the ground froze. It may be March now, but I think we can still get them in. The Bug Test Atlantics as a small business is full. We let our last office today, which is sort of nice for the downtown. It means lots of people are coming and going and so forth. Our last tenant who signed up today is a cosmetologist, and I don't exactly know what her practice is about, but could be interesting to have that business downtown. She's a small businesswoman who just got her certification for cosmetology. And the last thing is we're having a second yoga class starting up at 9 a.m. on Sunday mornings. There's such demand for yoga. Meg Livers is doing it on Wednesday nights at 6 o'clock, and she's adding a new class that will start at January 8th, Sunday, January 8th, and it'll be at 9 a.m. And I don't exactly know what the rates are. I think it's something like $12 a session, and you can get a book of tickets, so it's a little bit cheaper if you get 5 or 10 or something like that. And you can read our website, and I think she posts on Facebook on all the local towns' Facebook pages, so that you can be in contact with her if you like.
Hi, I'm here. I'm here to represent the neighborhood. We have a nice neighborhood at this point, and there's a little child who lives next door who's 2, particularly here for her. The issue is the number of people who've gone off the street.
Hey, Daryl, can you go grab John?
Yeah, since I've lived there in 15 years, there've been like 6 cars gone off the street. Half of them have been in my yard. I put up some big rocks there to sort of keep them out. But part of it seems to be the icy spot. And when John gets in, I'll thank him for they've been very diligent lately sanding that icy spot. But it's not always icy. Sometimes people are just speeding. And they don't stay on their side of the road. There's a curve there. And 90% of people just drive down the middle of the road when they come around the curve. You can tell because the paint's all worn off in the center stripe there. So I understand it's a state road, and I know that there are things that we can do and things that we need the state to do. But it's not very clear when you come from Main Street down Jefferson Street what the speed limit is. There's a little speed limit sign kind of in the weeds by the old pizza shop. And after that, you kind of get the feeling that you're out of town and you can just step on it. And that's what a lot of people do. So what I'm asking is if, I don't know where the good sign is that tells people how fast they're going.
It does not work in the winter.
It doesn't.
It does not. That was a grant that we received. It was a free sign. It does not, it freezes up in the winter. That's why it hasn't been out recently.
Okay.
But I can tell you, apparently we missed catching John before he left.
Okay.
But DOT was down in front of Bear Hill Hardware. They did alleviate some of the water that comes across that freezes. The other issue is there is a house that has a driveway coming down that the state believes that they can fix if they can dig up the yard of the house on the hill. And they've been trying to get in contact with that homeowner because the state would have to do work on their property to fix the runoff.
Okay.
So they are trying to address that.
Okay.
And we, every year, at least since I've been here, we've called the DOT and said, this is the issue. They seem to think that the driveway is a new issue.
driveway's been there.
That driveway has been like that since I've been here 6 years. So,
But-
Been on the road 29
Barbara
years
Vanna
and it's
across
still,
the street says it's been like that since 1958.
I would agree. I mean, probably, anecdotally, John would probably sit here and tell you the same thing. But they are working on it and they are working. We gave them the information we had on the homeowner and some phone numbers that we had so that they could potentially call them and get that permission because they truly believe now there is something they can dig up and a way to address that runoff across the street. And Public Works has been out. I mean, they've been out. I know they were sanding at 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't know if you've met Jeremy Joslin, Officer Joslin yet. That accident that recently happened, he literally had driven down Jefferson, had called John Daigle, was on the phone with John Daigle getting Public Works out to sand when that accident happened. So our police department is out and every time that they feel it's an issue and John is aware of it, they've been going out and sanding.
That's great.
and I think the one prior to that was no UI, wasn't it? So
Well, the one
So
prior to that was not
that
related
was
to the
nothing.
ice.
the one that took off the telephone pole, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah.
there were two. One
Yeah.
took off the pole and the
Yeah.
other one messed up the stump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that messed up the stump was the most recent one.
Right.
And he was on the sidewalk
Hmm.
for about 100 yards.
Yeah,
So
that's
God
what,
help anybody who'd been walking.
yeah. So, but anyway, yeah, no, kudos to the, like I said, Jeremy was out there, Officer Joslin was out there and had just driven over it and said, well, I got to get the Public Works out. And
That's great. I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear that. And can we have people driving 25 miles an hour?
do you know that that is the absolute largest complaint we get? And I would love to tell you, we can put a police officer there, and while the police officer's there, people will slow down, and when he has a call and leaves, they won't. And most of the time, it's our neighbors who are speeding, but one of the things that I don't know, I don't think you were at the meeting, or maybe you were, Charlotte, I don't remember, but back in April, we had I think it was April or March. It was during budget season, I remember. We had the MDOT engineers come down and they gave us a presentation and then we did a public presentation of it. They have some interesting ideas about how to fix that Jefferson, Main, Friendship Street intersection. And it involves doing bump outs and also speed tables on Jefferson and Main Street.
Yes, please.
So, and one of the big things that has always prevented that has been how do you plow over these and then the drainage that happens. But John Daigle, who I wish was still here, was in that meeting and very supportive of that idea of the bump outs and the speed tables. I mean, he really, in the past, has not been a fan of the humps,
Right.
but the tables are a little bit different. And they actually brought examples from Augusta that have been used.
They're lower, but
They're lower, but you really can't speed over them.
right.
And they don't make the noise that you remember the humps make that da-dum, 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 da-dum.
Right.
You're not going to get that,
Right.
that noise. And that is part of the Village Initiative program that we will be applying for. They know we are applying for it. They already had 17 towns ahead of us, so we'll be in the next round of grants. And we need to put that match in our budget that we're just starting in January.
Well, if there's anything I can do to support that, I do. And I speak for the neighborhood. We all do. So,
And that's, like I said, that's the biggest complaint we get is speeding throughout the town. And it doesn't matter if you're on Old Augusta Road or Friendship or Jefferson. Speeding is an issue and it's throughout the county. That's the one thing. It's not just a Waldeboro issue. It is throughout. We were at a budget meeting with the county and the county sheriff said that is also the #1 complaint that he gets through all the towns that they service is speeding.
well, I'm glad I came out.
Well, it's nice to see you. We haven't seen you in a while.
I can't hear, so I don't go to meetings.
Sorry, Charlotte.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Just one additional comment, and that is
my feeling is that the speeding on Jefferson starts primarily from people coming from Main Street. It's not, the problem isn't people coming from Route 1 and turning off.
No, I think they,
It's people coming
Trust
from
me,
Main
no.
Street
no, they
going to
go,
Route 1.
it's both ways.
Is it?
They speed by my house.
Okay,
right
so
after
then
me. Yep.
maybe these speed tables ought to be distributed perhaps a little more frequently along Jefferson.
So that's when we met with the MDOT. And that was a very interesting discussion about how can we put those, because that's the truck route. You know, everybody always says that, you know, well, we can't mess too much with Jefferson. It was designed to handle that flow of traffic. It was definitely not handled to handle the speed of that traffic. But they had no problem with putting that speed table one closer to Elm Street, and then one closer, or maybe even two you could have further up.
Yeah.
And the same thing, because as you're leaving, as you know, you get over the bridge and then everybody guns it to get up that hill. That's also an area that we could have, you know, the speed tables, and they're relatively easy to put in. But our engineer is going to be working on a plan, because we have to have a plan before we go. Our engineer is working on a plan for that, and it should be interesting. We provided him with the information that MDOT gave us. But the village partnership is good too, because the state will fund it 60% and we'll have to fund it 40%. And I do believe, from what John Daigle figured, that the speed tables were something Public Works could install, whereas the bump outs downtown, with their idea is to bump out on all four corners and create the illusion of narrowing of the lanes. Even though they're not really narrowing the lanes, it creates an illusion, and that naturally slows people down.
Well, I would like to say that speeding is not a problem in town. Where I live in South Florida, just before the Fintown Road, there's a little straight stretch. I have seen 2 cars, people go by 2 cars on that small area, and then they're going up a hill. So, I mean, it's like they said, it's all over town. It's all over. And I'm probably one of them.
Okay, any other comments? All right, we'll move on to select board comments. Bob, do you
I've
have
got a
anything today?
couple. One is a request that I know our schedules are full, especially now, this time of year. But the request is that we sometime find time to have the Transfer Station Management Board get together to provide some direction to the Transfer Station Committee. And I know that's not easy to do, but it would be helpful if we could do it sooner rather than later. Also, the Sylvania Development Committee at its last meeting recommends to the Select Board that the Select Board put the Hofstas House on the market until June 30th. And they also request that they have a look at the document the town sends out before it sends it out for requests for proposal to cap that property. They have some interesting ideas that may be workable and maybe won't be workable. I know Julie, has suggested that maybe the engineer could talk to that committee before.
So we have an engineer we contract with who has, and I wish John Daigle was here. We've had great success with the capping of both landfills.
Yep.
Pine Tree Engineering from Bath. They know the town. They work well with our staff. So I had reached out to Rob. As you know, I was away last week. So Rob is more than happy to come down and meet with them. I don't necessarily think we have to have an RFP, but he's reviewing the documents that he requested. And I think that we'll get a good idea from him of what can be done and what can't. He also has a good relationship with the DEP. I think that Max, it just went out of my mind what Max's last name is at the DEP.
Johnston.
No,
Oh, Max Lewick.
Max Lewick. I believe they have worked on other projects together. So I don't know necessarily that we'll put out an engineering RFP since we already have him. But I do believe that he is more than willing to meet with the Sylvania Committee.
Fantastic. And the only other comment I have is that the Economic Development Committee recommends that the town pursue a broadband planning grant to bring fiber to the homes. And I think that grant goes through the Shelter Institute. Anyway, Max knows about it.
Max
And-
is on
and
top of it.
EDC is backing it all the way. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
I'm all set. Okay, that's it.
I'd just like to mention the lights in town. It's been nice. Doing the judging of some of the lights this year, so I've been just driving around and drove some kids around and some adults around looking for lights. And there are some very nice displays. So it's always a pleasant thing to do this time of year. Nothing else.
Gets one in the holiday spirit.
Mhm.
I just have a quick one on the 250th anniversary. Been meeting regularly and things are going great guns. That's gonna be good. And I mean, good, great. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be wonderful.
Yeah. With the coins are being sold, things are
They're
going well.
going
with
out like
that.
hotcakes out of the office.
Yeah. The parade is gonna be huge. We're gonna have some great music, fireworks, an art display, kids programs, and I can't read my writing.
Is there a
Oh,
dance?
Waldo is having movies throughout the day.
Is there going to be a dance?
Hmm. Mhm.
The band?
Yeah,
That's the plan.
I'm not singing, so why not?
You dancing?
Okay. But they're always looking for help. So if you have an idea that might work with them, we meet on Monday nights, and it's good. It's a good time. Okay, we'll move on to the town manager's report.
So I have a couple of really nice things. I attended the Waldo Theater to watch Songs of Gordon Lightfoot because everybody loves the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. And it was just such a lovely evening to have in Waldoboro. It was an hour and a half concert. It was lovely. Everybody there was lovely. And I just think that I wanted to remind everybody, the Waldo Theater has a ton of events going on in December. I believe they're doing a sing-along. The Sound of Music sing-along was a lot of fun, I heard too. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knew about that. Our tour, as you can tell, we normally do not have this kind of toys and bags of toys here at the town office, or as I call it, the workshop, Santa's workshop. But this year, and I want to give a special shout out to all the elves, Tanya Blodgett, Karen Ann Hager, Peg Tynan, and Marcus. It's been, when I first got here, there was about 28 to 30 families, and we are up to over 50 families with over 100 children that we purchased coats, boots, and toys. There were a lot of toy donations. There was a lot of monetary donations. This town never ceases to amaze me at their generosity of spirit. We had a donor walk in yesterday when she saw all these seats were filled with toys, and half of the toys have already left today. She just burst into tears. We've had people who've picked up toys who have burst into tears. It's a rough year, and people have really responded with just such generosity. We have 142 food baskets scheduled to go out next week. The Lions Club made a large donation. People have brought in donations towards the food drive. We've procured chickens, turkeys, and hams because there's a shortage of a little bit of everything, so we had to mix it up. And that to me is just, it again, just speaks to the wonderful things that happen here in Waldeboro. And finally, as I mentioned earlier, we quietly installed the tree down at Pine Street Landing. It's been a huge success. I made my husband record the news tonight because apparently we were going to be on the news tonight on WGMA. So that's exciting.
How did you get it lit up?
They are solar lights.
Are they?
They are solar lights. Mhm. And it's been a magical experience. So we're very proud of everybody who helped. And I have to say that for the tree and for the toys and the baskets, what really speaks so much about the staff here at the office is so many of the toy donations came from employees who truly believe in our mission and what we've been doing in the past few years and just truly becoming part of the community and helping the community. And it's a good thing. And I'm sure it will continue.
You should advertise that to the help. Get in the press, big time, big time.
Elizabeth.
Big time. You know, it's just like teaching. All you hear about was the bad kids.
It's,
never
you know,
hear
it's
about the
hard.
good kids.
It's,
I mean, I was amazed when I walked. in.
everybody is amazed.
I was looking to see if there's anything I could use myself.
Everybody is amazed. And, you know, we have people who knit hats every year and mittens, and every child gets a coat who asks for one. And not everybody asks, but they get a pair of good boots, good snow boots, a warm coat,
Yeah.
a hat and mittens and toys.
The
So
Women's Club supported.
yeah, the women's club was great. I mean, we
Yeah.
really, and we'll be sending out, you know, some posts first, you know, everybody's just done lots of things. So we really appreciate it.
All right, well, let's move on to new business, which is the American Legion approval letter that we do every 2 years. This is for the local American Legion post to host and do bingo, Beano, whatever you want to call it, on Saturday evenings throughout the year. And I would entertain a motion on that.
Make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carried. All right, that's the only thing I had in new business, old business.
We skipped the consent calendar.
Oh, you're right. May I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Go ahead, Bob.
I'll make the motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the consent calendar. Any discussion? All in favor? Raise your hands. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right, we've done the new business. I was in such a hurry to get to that, I guess. All right, old business. Is there anything? No? Okay, agenda items for next meeting.
Are we going to have another meeting in December?
That was one of my questions is, do you want to have another meeting in December? We're going to have a lot of meetings in January, February, March, and April because it's budget.
Does that rhyme with budget?
It rhymes with budget.
That would be on the 27th.
It's a little close to Christmas. It's totally up to you.
I'm out of town.
Sorry, Jan,
I said I'll be out of town.
you're out of town.
Yeah.
Oh, and I should mention Karen Ann Hager Smith, our community navigator. If you'll recall, she was going to be here tonight. She was going to be our featured star. Unfortunately, she had a commitment at another place that she had to go. So she apologized. But she will be at our next meeting to give you an update on everything that was Christmas and everything that's been done. I should also mention too that we have seen an uptick in some requests for fuel assistance that we're coordinating with all providers throughout Lincoln County. So we have seen that, and so I'm sure she'll update you on all of those.
I'd move we meet the first Tuesday, second Tuesday in January. That'd be our next meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carried. Okay, any other agenda items for the next time we do meet? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. Is there any discussion?
We can't have a discussion on the motion to adjourn.
You can't have, no discussion is needed.
It's not allowed.
Oh, it's not allowed. Okay.
Just FYI.
I'm sorry for the Robert's Rules of Order infraction. I didn't mean for it. Okay, we'll go ahead and proceed to vote. Is there any, no, there isn't. All in favor of adjourning? I'm going to raise my hand way up. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
So, just so you're aware, the chairperson typically who is of the assessors is not here this evening because of his illness. If, I don't know I don't recall off the top of my head which one of you is deputy chairperson, but it's one of you three. You're going to have to take the chairmanship.
Go ahead, Jim.
All right, go on.
Good for it.
Let's just do it. Doesn't really matter if we are. Okay, we have a agenda. Okay.
Get a long
policy-
agenda.
This is, okay.
Oh, this is.
I have it right here.
This is
Okay.
the
Not
minutes.
as
so-
bad as it.
This is the minutes. I didn't realize it.
Yeah, that was last meeting.
That was last.
Okay, I call this meeting to order. Are there any citizen comments that are not on the agenda? Okay, and could I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I'd make that motion.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, official action.
It was 3 tabled last time, and then we have some new ones. First one was Mr. Connect Me, if you remember.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Karen Ann did contact him, and the note is what we got back on a phone call, but then he did come in today. Does not like to fill out paperwork, doesn't like to make calls because then he has to go to about 4 different people before he can get help. But he did take the how the oil works and asked if his daughter could as well. So appears to be going down that route. The only change that I looked at here is we did have everything as D grade except the bottom 3 on the garages, and that would make a difference of $154. Other than that, we can leave it as it is, or your choice.
And your recommendation is to put them in as D grade.
So just reduce it to $154.
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
I'd second it.
All in favor?
Next up are the customers who are here. They're welcome to come up if they want to. I do have a correction on theirs as well. Sarah looked it over and pointed out I had the road frontage high again.
She's on
She's
you.
a-
She is
she's a
on to
woman
me.
of great detail.
So there is 308 feet on the Noise Road, and then it becomes the Cottage Point Road, and I have 94 feet on that. But when you have a corner lot, you can't add frontage on both because you're getting the same plot of land. So I did take that off, and it makes a difference of 1,000. The recommendation of leaving it as a C+10 would lower it by $658 on the backside. If we take it back to a C grade on all structures, it takes it down 1,092. So
Grade for 20 years.
you're looking at a difference from 378 to 347.
There's one thing I forgot to talk to you about,
Okay.
and that's the canopies. I wanted to know if we can reduce, I mean, I'd really like to be left alone at the C100, not increase at C110, because I'm already getting an increase, as everybody is, which I expected, but that's like a double whammy. To hit me with that too, but on the canopies, it's got a, well, depending on which one you look at, the C10 or the C100, all it is, this is a picture of it, it's metal over strapping. It's not anything, you know. No, I mean, that's the garage with the canopies on either side. And it's not this opens and that's just the ceiling where that opens up to, but it's just extended metal roof. No sides, no bells and whistles, dirt floor. Right, yeah. So, which I guess it must be because of height that I'm still at 1.5 on the garage.
Yes.
Okay. But if we can possibly reduce the grades on the garage and the canopy as well would help. Because even with that reduction, if we leave it at the C100, we're still at a 4% mill rate decrease and I'm still over $1,000 increase. So generally, the mill rates don't go down, they go up. So,
That's what it's been doing for the last several years, going up. That's why it's got to the point. where it
Yeah.
had to do something.
right. So, and
It's the same 1 year.
Yeah, we have stayed the same.
Yeah, a couple of years, actually. We stayed at 18 for a couple of years.
Our taxes went down last year. Recently, there was a year where taxes did go down.
I must have missed that here.
Me too.
There was, there was, 'cause it was.
It was last year.
Yeah,
The,
Douglas survey.
you were at 4,204.20 in the 21 year, the 22 year was 4,158. So it was a whole $50 or less than $50.
It's
but it was
going in the right direction.
And then this
Then it went up.
They were never
6,000
complaints
something, and I
about
was like, whoa.
1890.
Yeah, so.
I can't help but agree. I know the height and I know this issue about the 1.5 stories. But that is not a 1.5 stories anyway. Space above that door is not usable.
No, that's just trusses.
I agree too.
I can't wrap my head around. I know
If
Daryl's
it's
doing the
not
right.
a second floor, it
He's
should be
does the
considered.
same thing. I mean, it's
It's
consistent
usable to
with-
get a camper in. You can't get a camper in a 1-story.
No, you can't.
It's a camper garage.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of those. They're
Yeah.
tall.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
the maximum height on the road is 13.6 and that's a 14-foot door. Because you can't get a 13.6 door.
Which you have to have, put the camper in.
Right, yeah. Which a year after we started building, our camper got destroyed by a drunk driver. So now we have a tow behind instead of a fifth wheel, but it doesn't mean that later we're gonna swap. our-
Which is under the canopy.
Right, that's
Well,
under the canopy
that
right
does
now.
add value to your garage if you have a. Put a trailer.
I agree with you, Jan, but I'm just not sure that the value added is the equivalent of another half story. That's where I have issue. I don't know how we,
Can we decrease the grade then to bring the value down on the garage part and as well as on the canopy? Because the canopies are, I mean, the canopies, it's saying, depending on which one you look at, is either $17,130 or $15,574. And those canopies are not, I mean, there's nothing to, it's just, like I said, it's just this metal over
But
strap.
to hire a carpenter to come to your property and build that, you're gonna spend more than $15,000, I'm sure.
I don't think so.
I
Too
would be
many.
shocked.
Pop that up. I mean, I've got a
My
carpenter
addition, my
rate.
20 by 40 addition that I
Yep.
just put on, I get $12,000 in that.
With
With the
a
slab.
carpenter,
No, I did it most of it myself.
right, so you gotta double it for
Right.
your labor,
I get
so.
Yeah, that was in materials. I had about 12,000 into it. That's with the slab and everything.
There's
There's no slab
there's-
here.
Yeah.
I don't want to set a precedent. I mean, we have to be consistent.
I mean, if there's a second floor, it's a second floor, should call it, but if it's all clear span, I mean, that's where I have an
That's
issue.
where I have the issue too.
Right.
But Daryl's following the rules, so.
So
But we can still change the,
reduce the
grade.
C grade
yeah.
to a 100 versus a 110.
Well, the C100 is what I was at for 20 years. And I'd like to, at least do that across the board anyways. But then on the garage, if we can do on the garage and canopies, drop them down to like a D100 as opposed to the C100. because I've looked at a bunch of different ones, you know, there's other accounts that I have that I'd written out the list. I didn't have time to print them out, but, you know, that you can have a higher grade with the house, but you can have lower grades with your outbuildings or vice versa, however it works. It doesn't all have to be the same, so.
I went up assuming that I would regrade, but it's a beautiful structure. It does have windows in it. It's shiny because it is painted up well. I just didn't see it. It's a beautiful garage. But if you do lower everything to the sea, you're at 347,000 as a value on just this property. And I think it would sell way higher than that if it was put on the market today because of what's selling. But that would take the 1,092 off.
That's just the garage or the
Nope,
outbuilding.
that's the house
Oh,
and
the
the
house.
garage and the land.
The house hasn't changed.
No. No, but the deck is pretty tender. It's on the side. You know, it was put on in 2008. So I don't know if we can still adjust some with some of the grades of the outbuildings in addition to putting it back at the C100 and reducing some of the outbuildings is what I'm asking in addition if we can.
Darrell, what prompted the reclassification from C100 to C110?
So this was built in 2002 and I looked at all structures newer than 2000 and put them at C+10. So that's where that prompted that. And then Abden asked if I would price it out going back. That's what I've done.
Is that kind of pro forma? Is that something you,
Well, of course, going back to the 2008, you know, the newer structure compared to an FHA in the 70s and 80s was average. Well, these homes have much better quality.
right?
Each year, they seem to come out with higher quality materials and
Yep.
whatnot. But-
Yep.
And I understand you can spend a lot of money and not get it back. You know, it's tough when it goes to sell. It's house for house and the age doesn't enter a whole lot in, but it does. And they obviously only take 84% off on the depreciation to a new one, but
But you do have the power to change the grade.
they do. They have the vote.
If we change the grade on this one, what does that do to the others that you?
Unless somebody complains, I guess.
Well, when we were here before, you were offering the other people to change the grade down to adjust some of their
And they didn't want
prices.
to. Because they didn't want to devalue their
I was
property.
thinking,
So
why would you not? But-
He tried hard.
I tried. I asked to them. I tried. But they didn't want to degrade it, so.
I'll take them both.
Well, that makes me feel a little better about
I think if you're trying to degrade it, you don't want to sell it.
I don't intend to.
So,
You know, that's why I'm
that's-
here.
that's
I'm
the way I
fighting
see
to be
it. So
able
if
to
you
afford to
don't wanna
stay
degrade it,
here.
Then it sounds to me like you want to sell it or
Yeah,
if you want to sell it, you want that higher
I
grade.
mean,
So to me, if you want.
every real estate agent I've talked to is,
So.
yeah, there's no two houses that are the same, you know, modulars not included because they just kind of come off the line however, but it's, you know, different people are willing to pay different things. It's just like you could go out and buy a dog for $500 and buy the same dog, you know, the next town over and pay $2,000. It's, you know, it's insane what, I mean, there was a house on my road that just down below us. I mean, granted, you step off the deck, you're stepping all but into the water and it was nice water frontage that you could actually access. And that went into a bidding war and it was insane. But the people that sold, they were retiring and moving away. They didn't care. You know, they were like, hey, great. I was like, lovely. So, but
It's
it's,
just the fact that we built it ourselves,
Yeah.
did all this work so that we could afford it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's not top of the line. I mean, it's laminate countertops and
you know, so
it's Lowe's windows, Lowe's doors.
Now you was just talking, reducing the outbuildings to a C100.
Going back to the overall C100, the house and the outbuildings were always at C100, except for the shed was E100, but at some point that got bumped up and now it's back down to where it was. It's an old shed that we brought up when we were building, but in addition, I'm just asking if we can, where we're calling it a 1.5 garage, and it's got the canopies, I mean, the combination of that garage and canopies, even at C100 is still 55,000, it looks like.
Yeah.
So I'm just asking if we can reduce that still even from the C100, maybe down to a D100, the next one down. It's not going to make a huge difference, but it'll make some. And then when the mill rates go up, it won't, it's still going to be an increase, but
Right, they will go up.
I always do. So.
I'm working on that too, so.
What's your pleasure?
I, at least for discussion purposes, a move that we set them at C100.
Second that.
All in favor? Any more discussion? Oh, that's what we are,
Yeah.
discussion.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
That knocks it down by 2,092, Daryl. would I do
Correct.
that correctly?
Yeah, we actually increased the land by 2,000 by splitting it, but that was their request, and then the buildings would go down 80,000. So the net is 78,000 down.
Are you okay with that?
Me?
Obviously, no, I'm talking to Daryl.
Yes.
But it's not right to cut your feet out from under you either. I mean, you've got a tough job too.
Oh, that's fine.
You're okay with that?
I mean, if they want to reduce the grade on it, I mean, like I said, it sounds like they're not going anywhere, so.
Yeah.
So they're not too worried about what the value of the property is.
We all set for a vote? All in favor?
So we will send you out a notice, and if you wish, you can appeal further to the county. That'll be the next step.
Okay, so if I want to pursue still with the garage and the canopy under it.
Or any of it, actually. Yep. All right. Thank you both.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did you change your name to Amanda?
No, I borrowed a jacket. I just haven't given it back.
Did I
was gonna say, did-
Especially come looking for it.
Did I get another name wrong? I was gonna say, what did I mess up? Yeah.
Nope. She's one of the 5 sisters. Thanks.
And Betty Studley's here, I believe.
I see you saved the best for last.
That's right.
Always.
No question.
Would just like to say that I did not receive, why I was not here for the last meeting, I did not receive a notice. I did not know that that was happening that night. Until Bob approached me in the library. Maybe that's not the appropriate word, but he came to me and gave me the good news. I did not know at that point.
Well, I apologize. Normally, we would have sent an agenda out, and
Yeah.
you came in and said to get this in, so I thought you were all on board, and it was the day or whatever.
Well, I would have, but I didn't want to know.
No
And I want to say whatever comments I made in no way are personal
No,
manner.
not a problem.
Anything I say, I not intend to offend everybody. Here to see if we can lower the taxes a little bit. That's what I'm saying. The comments that I have. Daryl, you had to go to every, in this reevaluation, you had to go to every property?
I drove to each property and drove in driveways that you can't see from the road and observed whether I could see something missing or something new. And if there didn't appear to be changes, then I went to the next one. If I found houses, I found garages, I found
Yeah.
buildings I didn't know existed.
Yeah.
And in other cases, there were buildings with holes in their roof, and I took them off. So I wanted to be sure that I did drive to each property to have a quick look.
I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you did that.
Well, I was late. I was late getting the bill out. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
very unfair to you.
Well, no,
And I'm not.
that's
yes,
what I'm
it is.
hired to do.
That's a lot, yeah, but that's an impossible job to go there every.
I was shocked at the new stuff and it took me so long. I thought I'd breeze through
A lot
this,
of
but
new
I was
stuff that
late.
you didn't know about.
No, never had them.
Now, you have the right to go on anybody's property, but you have to be invited inside.
No,
No.
I do not have the right to go even on property.
Oh,
For
you don't?
instance, the first one tonight, he in the past built a garage that I didn't know about. I drove down, found it, and the gate went up immediately and it's locked. So I did not walk into his property.
So, so you do not have the right to.
I do
cut off
not have the
somebody's-
right. No.
Wow.
No.
And it's more-
Makes it even tougher.
Yes, it does.
So you're doing it visually from the road or from a driveway.
Or you drive in and
Yeah.
hope that people are pleasant and
Yeah, you hope.
So you're guessing.
Hi, I'm Daryl. I'm your friendly tax
I am your friendly Texas man.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
occasionally
The
I have
only
been screamed and hollered.
comments as I wrote on here is my house was built in 1838, so it's an old house. And naturally, you had outhouses back then. And he has an outhouse, attached outhouse listed as a shed. That's something I question. I have 2 barns, unfortunately, and probably it's a 3-4 foot way to each barn, and he has that listed as a shed. That I question. And you know that I wasn't notified of the meeting, I certainly would have been here, but as I see, I don't know how you do what you do. So those are my concerns, and naturally, looking to see if we can lower taxes a little bit here.
Yours went up 1,000? Is that what I see?
$408.
Oh,
400,
408.
400
Okay, so
something. Which I know isn't compared to a lot of people, like the people right
we had
across.
that discussion, didn't we?
Yeah, he filled my ear yesterday. And my neighbors across the road, I just, I'm just asking questions from my understanding,
Mhm.
nothing against.
Yep.
I mean, now, you people, another thing, I don't understand how you people can sit as assessors. You do not go out and assess property, do you?
No, that's his job.
No, but you are listed as a board of assessors. Why don't we have a board of assessors?
Because we do, we hired an assessor.
No,
and
no,
then
you
the board.
don't. You're the select people.
Well, but it.
You're
but
doing
we're
2
also-
functions. Why,
Yep. we are.
any place I know, and in many states, I know in Massachusetts, that's illegal to have like your selectmen act as a board of assessors. Why don't we have a separate board of assessors is my question.
It has never been brought to a vote, but it would take a
Has
change.
that
of-
ever been suggested?
Probably
I-
have to have a town charter to do it.
No, you don't have to have a town charter, but you would have to take a vote of the town and you would split the board or have 2 boards and
To me, that makes more sense.
the other aspect is you could vote in the town to have a board of assessment review, which would be a local board, and they would not go to the county commissioners, which at this point, they go over to Lincoln County and the
Yeah,
3
so
county
it's Catholic.
commissioners
Yeah.
listen to it. So a lot of towns have brought in their own review board and tried to put people that are in the real estate business or
Yeah.
knowledge
Yeah.
of real estate. No, you get elected to that select board and this comes with it.
Well, I don't.
And it's a
understand- I
learning
don't understand
experience,
that.
I would say.
I mean, you have to have some knowledge, and to me, to pass a judgment, you would have to see the property. I don't see how you can do both. And fairness to you. I mean, it all comes back to you.
And again, they could table for review and go out and review the property. That's in their preview. I don't think the board ever has, but with this day and age with photos and experience. But
So,
I have not asked to go into her home. I have not been in the home. I have not been other than driving by and
yeah,
observing it all these years.
I
But
thought you could go on property, but not inside.
We do, and I don't know that a judge would ever penalize for doing it, but no, if I am asked to leave, I certainly leave immediately. If there's a no trespass sign, I drive by, but
Keep on moving, right?
yes. I watch around and look for the gun. Try to be a moving target.
So what was the value before? I'm trying to figure it out.
So her value last year was 98 on land, 98 on buildings, 25,000 off for the homestead. So she was taxed at 171,000. The taxes were 3,078. This year it's 98,000 on the land, same, 176 on buildings.
Okay.
Minus the homestead, she's at 249,000 versus the 171.
So it went up 70,000.
Yes,
Somewhere around
78,000.
78, yeah.
78,000.
Okay.
And the taxes are 3,486 or 408.
There's been no upgrades to the buildings or anything, the barn, the big barn. Isn't right about what, 50 to 46 to 54%. Is that what you get?
For the depreciation as fair.
Yeah.
Because there hasn't been any upgrades that I'm aware of, so it's a fair. If she was to put a roof on, put siding on, put windows in, then that would change to an average or good. But doesn't look like much done to me.
Does it fit a C100?
That's where we generally start. Yeah.
That's where you start.
Yeah.
Which is probably not as good a shape as the people that were previously here.
It's two different eras, the 1800s
Right.
versus 2002.
You plan on going anywhere?
I plan on going anywhere? What do you mean by that?
Well, I'm just wondering if.
To another area or
No.
geographic or somewhere else? No, I do not plan on going anywhere. That's my home. I came back to from
But you start
Lusty,
with a C.
Massachusetts.
You start with a C.
Oh, it's been in my family for many, many years.
Like I said, I hate to degrade somebody's property, but
Hmm?
I hate to move the grade down on somebody's property, but being an 1830 some odd, 1838 house, I mean, that old, does it require a degrade?
Generally, it would, if it went below condition or went down, I mean, obviously the barns are down to the E
Right,
grading.
right, I see that, yeah, so I didn't know if the house would. I've never been in the house, just driving by it, so I don't know.
If the house is put into an E grade, is that tantamount to saying it's really not livable
It
or
needs,
habitable?
most people would go in and renovate the whole place.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you drop to a D grade, that wouldn't. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of, other than the values. That would considerably change the value of property for the building.
It would lower that probably. I didn't price it out, but I guess recommend we go walk through the house and look at it. Anybody's welcome to go or. I'll go
Would you
down.
be willing to let Daryl?
If he can catch me home.
You call and I'll come.
Is that a good thing to do?
Well, maybe we gotta go up. Maybe she's got some beautiful restored house.
Oh, I have that all covered up.
Got that hidden somewhere in the walls.
Well, I will tell you, yes, I have done upgrades. Which is probably not a good thing for me to say. But
Yeah.
I have. So
Daryl will leave them down if you want, but I have all new windows in. I've done a lot, all the roofs. Thank God. Are all done. Thank God. I have. But if you want to come down and walk through, that's fine, but I'm being honest with you.
Is there,
Probably to my disadvantage, but I'm being
Well, we'll
honest.
see it when we go.
is there a risk that you could upgrade it to a C-110? And if you do that, how much do the taxes go up?
Well,
No,
that's what I'm saying.
I would not.
I should not have said this probably. But hey.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna see it anyway, so it'll save you a trip. I would tell you what I have done. And I personally have painted every damn room and every roof, every ceiling in there when I was young and foolish.
You got the metal ceilings. I mean, you know, you got some real unique.
No. I'm standing in the middle of my bed upstairs painting and I'm going like this and like this, but I got it done. No, I have, but that's going to increase my taxes. No, I haven't. So, whatever.
I mean, you know, yes, on occasion they let you in and all, or they list it on the real estate and you look at it and they get 3 full-time bathrooms, not one, or whatever the case might
I
be.
don't have any boat bathrooms.
Right, but that
Anything
type of
like that,
things,
no.
they might have, when they do advertise, the fireplace or, you know, this and that.
Yeah. They close a lot of doors when you walk in.
They don't let you in. They say, yeah, thank you, but don't come in.
Yeah.
That was the case up on Main Street.
Yeah.
No,
We have the
we don't want
flu.
him there.
We have the flu. We have the COVID. I don't know. Anyway, I'm being honest with you. So hope you'll be honest with
So
me.
we should table this.
And it's a holiday season and we
If you
all
want
should
me
be
to
in a
go,
given attitude. So
if you want me to go walk it, then I will, or you can make a decision. It's your choice.
My only hesitation is if you go walking,
It's gonna go to a C10.
I don't want to
C-110.
see an increase in the taxes. unless-
Well, it won't increase this year, but no.
Oh!
No,
When did you
no.
say you're retiring?
No, I wouldn't do.
Daryl, there's really, I've told you what I have
Yes.
done.
Oh, I know.
But if you want to come down, fine. But
Well, before I lower it to a D, I certainly want to look. Yeah.
You want to look, yeah.
yeah, that's fine.
And I mean, she may need all her underpinning. I don't know. Obviously, you've kept your home in good shape, but
Yeah.
you never know when they do a house inspection, what they find.
Yeah.
and it
Oh,
can
yeah.
be- And everything's so costly.
Yeah.
So the motion would be to table.
Table it until Daryl.
All right, we'll give you another day.
Okay, all right, another session.
Oh, we can
Yeah.
all go down and have
You
tea and
can.
cookies.
Yeah,
Right? It's the season.
Everyone's welcome.
Christmas cookies and tea.
yeah, right, right.
If you want to look at the 1800s house,
Well, his friend of his was right next door to me,
Who's my friend?
Brunick's.
Oh, yeah.
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 Okay.
Because I saw a sign out there for you when you were running and
Yeah.
I called Brenda. I said, how do you know him? And, so anyway, okay.
all right.
Yep, so there's a motion on the floor to table.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Wake
Paul
up.
made it, I said.
Wake up. Okay.
You've had a
Any more
long day.
discussion? Any agreement? All in favor?
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
You gotta throw some trash around in there when you show. the-
Pardon?
You gotta throw some trash around in there.
Yeah, I'll see how,
Throw your
break a
car-
few
throw your
windows.
lawn
and so
Have
forth.
some rats rotting in
Oh,
it.
no. Oh, that is one thing that my, was growing up, my brothers and all the kids then, when the old dump out here,
Mm.
they'd go out there and shoot rats.
Yeah.
My brother said, do you want to go to the dump with me? No, I don't. Now, there's one thing I don't like.
Mm.
Nothing else
Nobody here
bothers me.
remembers that we had-
Okay, thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Happy holidays and all
Yes.
that.
It was down on the dump road.
They're not going to meet again in December, so it'll be January before they meet again.
Second
Sometime
Tuesday.
between now
Make
and
it Easter or whatever.
All right.
All right, thank you all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed at all of this. I can't believe.
This is nothing compared to what was here.
Oh,
earlier.
it was full.
This place was
Cheers.
This
Literally
this
every
is, this
chair
place was full.
packed.
I can't believe.
That's
it.
only a third of what was here.
I know. It's a tough time for many people, but they sure are giving.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. All right, thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Number 34 is John Green. He's at 535 Friendship Road, had an appraisal done to refinance, and the appraiser pointed out that it is unfinished upstairs and that he should note that with us, and made a difference of 224, and that's the recommendation.
I'd make a motion on that.
I'll second it.
Is that the brick house?
Nope.
Where is that one?
That's
Nice.
well,
It's a nice two-bedroom cave.
It's dated inside though. It is old, 1970,
Yeah. that could-
So's mine.
1971, and it's that one's not been touched. And it's kind of like,
Upgrade.
but it's a house, beautiful lot.
Okay. So
We got a motion.
we have a motion here to accept the. All right, we have a second.
Yep.
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor? All right. John Green.
James McGuire and Kathy live out on Filer's Corner. Theirs went up $1,660, and he just came unglued. He has calmed down a bit, but there was some, I had him as baseboard heat. He basically heats it with wood and has some electric backup. And I had him as a completely finished basement, and part of it is utility room. So that's a 224 recommended down.
I'll make that motion.
I'd second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Carol Day moved into a camper on her daughter's property, and I assessed it for the last couple of years. And then the daughter called up and said, that's just a camper she stays in the summer. She may have been in it one winter, but the furnace broke, so she didn't know what she was going to do. I had it down as hers, but they said, no, it's just our camper. So would recommend we take that off the books.
Both of them?
Both years, it's 22 and 23.
I'll make that motion.
Let's second it.
Discussion? All in favor?
The next one is the
Town acquired property.
town acquired property that Rose would like to get off the books. Still not decided whether this will go up for sale or not, but right now.
Which
we
one
have
is
it.
this?
This is the little triangle piece that is up at Camp Bell Hill.
Oh,
Looks like that, just beyond everything up
Yeah.
there. And it's
Right.
near the quarry and.
Yeah.
so it's not connected to the quarry.
Well, it is, yes. It's a budding property, and that's why Mac said we probably ought to hang on to it.
Oh, that's the piece we want to hang on to?
Well, that I understood they were going to hang on to it, but now Julie thinks we might sell it. So I don't know what you want to do with it, but
In any event.
Right.
yes.
No, no,
I got
It
So-
should come off the roll.
So, yeah,
I make that
6
motion
years.
for the 6 years of the tax acquired property.
I'd second.
any discussion? All in favor?
And I moved the personal property down to the bottom. Barstow Farms closed along with Rising Sea over to Kaler's Corner, over to Cider Hill is where those two businesses were.
Oh, okay.
Long Winter Soap is no longer down there, and Robert Merrifield moved and had 1 year left on a tractor that I would recommend we abate those personal properties.
I make that motion.
I'd second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
All I got for you.
Have we even close to that 98,000 that we had for layover? Okay, so we're still good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure of that too. 'Cause did you say we go usually around 28,000?
Yeah.
30,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
You too.
Over to you.
I think this is really quite funny. Can't you hear him say it?
Well, yeah.
Goodbye.
Karen Ann just loves quoting that in his accent.
Hear it now.
The other one I probably ought to show you is the, turn that off. Is the other letter I got. I'll throw it in there. We talked about a laugh.
From the same person?
No, from one tonight that's just apologized for being such a jerk when he came in and just, everybody was like. But even with Betty, no offense taken, it's just the process and I do not take offense and I will deal with you on other issues for as long as I'm here, so you can't get,
Oh, I don't think I'm supposed to use colored ink.
you can't get upset. And people have bad days. I have bad days. So you never know what their experience when they see you, right? Usually,
I thought she was in good humor.
oh, she is. She's a hoot. She really
Yeah.
is.
Better than something.
Yes. Can you turn that off, Julie?
You did. Oh, that was almost disastrous.
Sorry, I didn't know you were done.